Hello, fellow moms and caretakers, anyone who nurtures others on a daily basis. This class is for you. I know what it takes to carve out this time for yourself and get onto the mat, and I'm so happy that you've chosen to spend it with me, Jillian, your yoga guide today. This class is going to be all about balance, and we're not going to be getting into any crazy postures or anything like that. It's really about functional movement. So doing things that are going to hopefully help you when you're holding a kid on one hip, maybe stirring something on the stove with the other hand, and trying not to trip over the dog. So if that sounds like something that you could relate to, then you're in the right spot. And this is a class for all fitness levels. You don't need any yoga experience. And I really just encourage you to meet yourself where you're at and use props if you think that that would be valuable to you. You may find that a chair is helpful, or you could do this class at the wall so you can have the support of the wall to put hands on when you need it for balance. Some blocks might be useful. And I would love if everybody could grab a bolster, or if you don't have a bolster, then maybe a pillow or a folded thick blanket, just something that you can sit on to start. I don't think you can really talk about balance without talking about breath, because breath helps with stability, and also without talking about our deep intrinsic core muscles, the transverse abdominis, which are the muscles that wrap around us like a corset. So if you could grab your bolster or blanket, that would be great, and we'll get started. So before we actually sit on the bolster, let's just do a little experiment. So this is just an exercise to help you notice the breath and how the position of the pelvis affects the breath. So we often tuck our tailbone. It's hard not to when we're sitting, and certainly when we're driving around, but we also often do it in standing, and this does affect our breath and our balance as well, because our spine is not as stable when our tailbone is tucked. So let's just sit here in whatever cross-legged position works for you. Close your eyes if it feels comfortable. And you might notice that your low back feels a little rounded. Maybe your shoulders are coming forward a little bit. And then just take a deep breath here. Just noticing how it feels. All right, and then grab your bolster or your blankets and come sit up on them so that your pelvis is tipping forward, and you notice this natural curve of your low back, crown of your head lifted. Close your eyes if that felt comfortable to you, and take a deep breath here, noticing how it feels. So perhaps you noticed a difference by changing the orientation of the pelvis. And that's something to keep in mind as we're practicing to not tuck the tailbone and keep your spine in its natural curve. Another thing that we will find very beneficial for balance is locating our deep intrinsic core muscles, the transverse abdominis, which are our innermost layer of core muscles that wrap around us like a corset. So to help us locate what it feels like to engage those muscles, I'd like you to bring your hands to your rib cage, wherever you're at. Close your eyes if that felt good. Sometimes it can just help you notice a bit more what's going on in the inside. And then take a deep breath, expanding your rib cage in all directions like an umbrella opening. And then let your exhalation be slow and steady and long. And when you feel like you can't push out any more air, maybe try pushing out just a little bit more. And notice how at the end of your breath, your belly naturally engages. You feel it coming to the midline, a tightening around your entire torso. And try that one more time. Inhale. It can help maybe if you purse your lips and pretend like you're blowing a feather across the room. Keep going until you feel at the very end there's no more breath to give, and then return to normal breath. So hopefully you can feel that action when you're extending the exhale this way. So when we're using our those innermost core muscles, which are the ones that are responsible for stability, we want to engage them in this way rather than kind of pushing out through the front of the belly like a blowfish or sucking our belly in. All right, well, now that we have the breath and we've located our inner core muscles, let's go ahead and get started. We can take our prop out of the way. We won't need that until Savasana. And let's come on to all fours. So knees under hips and the creases of your wrists lined up with the front of your shoulders. And looking just straight down at the mat, so not letting the head hang here, spine in neutral. And then as you inhale, initiating the move with the pelvis, tip your tailbone up and then roll through the spine vertebra by vertebra as you bring your chest through your shoulders, gazing just about a foot in front of you. And then on your exhalation, again, beginning with the pelvis, tuck your tailbone under, push the mat away, rounding through the spine, exaggerating the movement. And then back again, inhale, tailbone lifts, belly drops, head lifts. Exhale, belly button moves toward the spine as you round through the shoulders, creating lots of space in the back body. And then just take one more on your breath. Your breath may be shorter or longer than mine, so just go at your own pace. And then find yourself back in a tabletop position. And so for our first balance pose, we're going to start by extending our right leg, tucking the toes under and pushing back through the right heel. Feeling a nice stretch in the back of your calf muscle of that right leg. Breathing here for a moment. And then inhale, shift your weight forward. Lift your right leg up using your glutes. So really focus the energy and the effort in your glutes as you lift that right leg. And then hug those belly muscle, the transverse abdominis muscles again together. So it's like that hugging in sensation. And if this feels stable to you, go ahead and inhale, lift your left hand up. Noticing how now those core muscles are really coming into play. Breathing here. And then you can stay here, or if you would like a bit more of a balance challenge, on your exhalation, you can draw your elbow towards your knee. Inhale. Reach lots of length from fingertips to toes. Exhale. Inhale. Just staying wherever is comfortable for you. Breathing. Always breathing.
coming down whenever you need to. And then we'll all meet back in tabletop. Let's take a stretch to the right side of the body. I think that'll feel nice. So make a kickstand out of your left shin by bringing it over to the left. If your knees are uncomfortable in this tabletop position, feel free to add a blanket underneath them. That can help, especially if you don't have one of these thick mats like I do. And then inhale your right arm up in front of your face and over, grounding down through the baby toe side of your right foot, lifting up, and then exhale, coming back to center in that tabletop position. Sorry for that backside view there. All right, and switching sides, extend your left foot back behind you, pressing back through your left heel, breathing here, getting that stretch in the back of your calf. And then shifting your weight forward, using your left glute now to lift that leg just up to hip height. So we're not coming into a back bend here. And then staying here if this feels like enough of a challenge for you, or if you want to add on, inhale the right arm forward. And then if you would like to move on from here, you can add the crunch. But there's no need to go beyond what you feel comfortable with. Just listening to the feedback of your body and doing what feels good to you today. Extending through fingertips and toes and then lowering down. And then we'll kick our right shin over to the right now, straighten through the left leg, grounding down through the baby toe side. Inhale, sweep that arm in front of you. Getting a stretch through the left side body now. Again, not back bending here, but just reaching forward, pressing the hips up. If you would like to intensify the stretch. And then coming back to all fours. You can take a child's pose here if you like. And eventually we'll all meet in a standing posture. So you can either step up by coming into a lunge, or if it feels good to you, you can tuck your toes under, inhale. On your exhale, lift up through the belly, lift the knees, and then press back, walking your hands back, and then bringing your hands to your thighs. Inhale to stand. How's everyone doing? All right, so now we'll come into our first standing balance posture. And again here, I just want to point out that curve of the low back. So we'll come into Tadasana in a way that's going to help you feel what that most stable position of your spine is. So line up the outer edges of your feet with the outer edges of your mat, about 2 fist width distance between your big toes. So your big toes are slightly together, your heels are slightly apart. And then press down into your feet, straighten your legs, let your inner thighs roll behind you. Permission to let your belly hang out. Notice the pelvis, how it's tipping forward here. Inhaling, shoulders over your hips, lifting from the back of the skull skyward to bring your chin parallel with the earth. Breathing here. So maintaining this natural curve as we move through these standing postures. And the first one is going to be a step back into a lunge. So if you want to do that version without assistance, then it would look like this. Inhale. And then bending in to your left knee, step back with your right foot, lower down, push back through the right heel to lift up. You can use your arms if you like. Inhale, come to center. And then switch sides. And I'll show you what it looks like with the chair. So if it feels like a lot to do that just in the middle of the mat, then you can place your hands on a chair, and then you would use the chair for some stability as you step back, lower down, push back through the left heel to lift, inhale, come to stand. So just moving through those. A wall would also work to put your hands on if you don't have a chair handy. So continuing on, stepping back, lowering down, feeling the stretch in the top of the right thigh. When that leg is behind you, push back through the right foot. Inhale, coming to stand. Arms can be wherever you feel comfortable. Stepping back. It can be challenging stepping into the unknown. But it's great practice for balance. So doing whatever number of these suits you. When you are stepping up, make sure to target that effort again into the glute of the leg that you're coming onto. Really just focus your attention there. Let's do one more. All right, so starting to get a little warm there. And now we'll just practice with balancing on our toes. So again, you can use the chair or a wall for this. Otherwise, you can do this in the center of your mat. Find that natural curve of your low back. And then inhale, extend your arms up, coming onto your toes. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift, reaching through the pinky toe side of your arms as you reach. Exhale, rolling through the entire length of your foot to lower. Use the entire inhalation to lift, the entire exhalation to lower. If you want to add a little bit more challenge to this, then you can come into a chair pose and then lift your heels, lower, and come back to standing. If you come into this, make sure that you're not tucking your tailbone here. Let your tailbone flare out behind you. But staying wherever works for you. And just adding different layers so that everyone can choose their own adventure. This practice is all about just connecting with your body, connecting with yourself, listening to your body, not letting your ego drive the bus. All right. Moving on. So now you might want to turn to the long way of your mat since we're going to be widening our stance. So go ahead and bring your feet further apart than your hips. And then your toes can come out slightly. They can point away from you, but you won't want them to point in. So just find a place that you feel stable and comfortable. If you need your chair, you can put it right in front of you here. And then we're going to squat down, shift over, lift your knee, and then exhale, come into a squat. Shift to the other side as you lift your knee. Exhale, come down. Inhale, lift, slow and steady. No need to rush. Again, not tucking your tailbone when you come down into the squat. Just going back and forth, lowering to whatever your level of comfort is. And balance is different every day. So let go of any attachment or judgment. If you fall, just smile and move on. Let's do one more on each side. Engaging those inner core muscles, using them in the movement, and then lowering down. All right. So now we'll just hold the one-legged version of the pose we just did. So ground down through your left foot, which I'm going to mirror you. So ground down through your right foot, and especially through the front of your right heel. And then lift up through the crown of your head. Make that leg straight and strong and shift your weight off of your left foot. Inhale, lift your arms, lift your left knee up, and just hold here. Breathe. Staying very strong in that standing leg, rooting down to reach pinky side of your hands, lifting skyward, playing with balance. And then exhale, lower down. Second side. So first find your steadiness and ground down through your left leg, especially thinking of the front of the left heel as moving down into the earth. Strong leg to lift your head as you shift your weight over. Inhale, lift to hold. Breathing, steady, slow breath helps to maintain the balance, as does that engagement of your inner core muscles. Holding, again, if you need the chair or the wall, use it. The props are there to help you. And then exhale, lower down. All right, now we're going to add on to that and come into a tree pose. So shifting back over onto your right foot, and then the same action as before. Inhale, lift your left knee up. And then without grabbing your ankle or your foot, just open your knee wherever it's at. So that might be down here on your shin, just avoiding the knee, but anywhere, even if you just want your toes on the ground. But you're just opening up your hip, reaching up, pressing down through your right leg Staying strong. Left foot is going down or is pressing into your right leg so that everything is hugging toward the midline. Breathing. And then to come out, bring your left knee forward and lower down. If it feels like leaving your arms lifted is a lot, then you can just keep them on your hips or wherever it feels comfortable. Shifting over onto your left foot. Inhale, lift your arms, lift your right knee, and then without grabbing, open up wherever you're at. Finding a steadiness. Engaging those inner abdominal muscles, really pressing down into your right leg, moving your left hip toward the center, your right sole of your foot toward the center. Just playing with the balance. And then knee comes forward and lower down. All right. So now we're going to combine that knee lift with a warrior 3. So you can use your chair for help here, and that would show you what that looks like. So the action is lifting the knee and then moving it back behind you. So trying not to put all your weight into the chair, but using it if you need to for balance. If this feels comfortable for you to do in the center of your mat, inhale, lift, and then your hands would come to heart center as you kick your leg back. And you don't need to come all the way into that T shape or 90-degree angle. It might look like this, and that's all good. Just practicing this steadiness on one leg. This is also a great way to pick up toys, even if you have this as a kickstand, but this hinging action of the hips rather than a rounding of the spine. So something to keep in mind as you're going through tidying the house. It's all about just keeping our bodies mobile enough and strong enough so that we can keep doing the things that we enjoy doing for as long as possible. Doing whatever number of these suits you, feeling free to rest in Tadasana at any time. Feeling the work in that left glute, lowering down, switching sides. Last big hurrah here. Inhale, lift. Exhale, kick that leg behind you. Inhale, reach. Exhale, find your balance. Shake it off if you fall. We're always just moving in the direction of. There's no end goal. Feeling this now in my right glute. Trying not to grip in the toes. Do one more. And lower down. Awesome. So I think a forward fold would feel pretty good right now. You can do that at the wall, using the wall. You can use your chair or use your blocks. If your hands don't reach the floor, the blocks are awesome. Rather than bending your knees to get down to the floor, it's really better to bring the floor to you. Inhale, exhale, fold. That way you're not getting a stretch in your joints, but you're really getting the stretch in the belly of the muscle of your hamstrings. So there's 3 levels to the blocks. You can experiment. And if you like, you can hang, staying straight through the legs, weight shifted toward the front part of your foot, but again, not gripping in your toes. So if you get somewhere and it feels like it's just not stable or you're not able to maintain the integrity, then move back. We're always just moving at the speed of the body's tissues, not forcing anything. Breathing. And then to come up, bring your hands to your thighs. Sit down. Inhale to stand. Beautiful. All right, let's move back down onto the floor. It's about that time. We'll get these out of the way. And when I teach classes, I always give a really long Savasana. I think it's the best part of the whole practice and the most important one. So if you've got the time, stay in Savasana as long as you possibly can. There are some things you may want to do if you do have the time to stay in it a bit longer. A cover, like an eye mask or a towel for over the eyes to block out the light is lovely. Maybe some little cushions under your hands so that they're not just on the floor, a blanket for warmth, and something under the knees. But I'm just going to grab this bolster for under my knees for today. So coming down, a blanket under the head can be really nice too. So laying down now, just coming on your back and having your arms be a comfortable, nice distance away from your body. Feeling the support of the bolster or rolled up blanket underneath your knees. And just settling in, letting everything go. Letting your eyes fall deeply into their sockets. Relaxing all the muscles of the jaw and the face. Letting your skin just drip off your bones. Releasing your tongue from the roof of your mouth. Teeth slightly parted. Shoulders falling away from your ears. Soft in the back of your neck. Soft in your belly. Just following the sensation of your breath. The way the air feels as it moves in through your nose, down the back of your throat and fills your lungs. With the inhalation and then with the exhalation, reversing that direction, the air leaving your lungs, going up the back of your throat and out your nose. And when your mind starts to wander, maybe going to your to-do list, just notice it without judgment and return gently to following the flow of your breath. And for those who need to get going, move on with your day, turn the kneecaps up. Maybe reach your arms overhead. Morning stretch. And then drawing one knee in at a time. Rolling to whatever side feels comfortable for you. Resting on your side for several breaths. Turning your chest toward the floor, using your arms to push yourself up. Coming back to a seated posture to finish. Tipping your pelvis forward to find that natural curve of your low back. Inhale, deep breath. Exhale, let it go. Inhaling your arms up. Exhaling to heart center. I hope you enjoyed this balance class. And thank you so much for being here with me today. Namaste.